ride, then I hopped in the coupe. Burning books up, what's new? I got the cash in the flute. Please do not sue. I'm paying all, that's out the blue. I'm grabbing some loops, sitting in a Porsche with new. Checking out Rarries and coupes, so look at the view. 20 floors up plus 2, as well as he knew. It came with a plane in the pool. I'm buying a mansion at seas. I'm riding a Lambo 2 seats. Spinning these beats with some flow and some heat. This isn't real, blowing my name off the roof. Trying to get bars out the blue. Ill Middle Eastern from the tip of the shoe. Riding these bars with no bars on the loose. I'm now 20 up plus 2. Not in a Lambo for 2. Not in a Rari or coupe. The flow is a beat, not 2. Who knew? The flow of a rap can change in a snap. Calling me Thanos with calling me that. So I'm snapping him back. Calling me that, who knew? The name's Z-I-Z-O.
يا الزينة في وسطها العين، يا محلى ناسك الطيبين، يا أجمل حب في الدنيا، حكاية عشقي البحرين. يا زينة how we describe you. Your beauty no one can argue. Your endless love has no bounds. A shining pearl we call بحرين. يا ديرة في وسط قلبي، لها أشواقي وحبي. يا كل الدنيا في عيني، حفظها وصانها.
They love it when I turn up the bass. They love it when I turn up the bass.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to more trades. Bitcoin has been making some interesting moves the past week. I'm looking at Bitcoin on the weekly chart on Bitstamp, and I want to share with you what I see. So what I'm seeing in Bitcoin now at the moment is that we are in these Fibonacci channels. We got rejected from this point in the channel, and we might be having a move to the downside. Now we're going to take a look and see where are we possibly going to end if we go to the downside, or even if we go to the upside, what are the possible targets. There'll be no bias. Hey Critical, nice to see you, man. It's been a while. There'll be no biases. We'll just be looking at the chart purely and seeing where could we end up. What's happening with my music, man? YouTube keeps putting ads in my music. I don't like that. Let's go back to the music. All right. At the moment, Bitcoin on the weekly chart. This is on Bitstamp. It's not on Binance or anything like that. It's just on Bitstamp. And I'm looking at this, and it seems that Bitcoin is getting rejected from the one-to-one extension over here, and we are pushing down. What are the possible targets? Now just looking at this, and if we say, okay, if this one candle can take us down to down there, how far would that be? That would be about, is that possible for Bitcoin in 1 week? 15%. We've seen Bitcoin move around 8% in 1 day. I mean, if we look at this candle, let's see how far did it go. This weekly candle already has made a move of about 10% from top to bottom. It's not strange for Bitcoin to move about 15% in 1 day then. And this move has looks like it's exhausted, but we are getting into the daily candle close today, but the weekly candle close will be tomorrow, and we might possibly see a volatile move. And if we see some volatility, then we might be coming up to reclaim the wick. But who knows? The weekly candle close is the time where you see volatility, even on the daily candle close. Okay, so the downside targets. Now I see we could get some support over here. If we even, the next weekly candle comes down, we could get support over here. Around, if we're tanking, we could come to the 14K range. And I'll tell you why. If we get there, why would that be a good zone for support? For starters, I'm going to put out we have the 500 EMA coming in here. So if the 500 EMA on the weekly, it's slightly slow on the weekly. So if it comes down like that, that would be the first time, I think, in Bitcoin's history that we test the 500 EMA. This is Bitcoin on the weekly, and as far as we go, the weekly candle, weekly 500 EMA started off in 8th of March 2021. We've never tested it. That's our next level of support. If we look at to the 300 and the 400, we're already beneath them, which Bitcoin has never stayed this long under the 300 or even under the 400. So most likely we are coming down to the 500 if we're going down. And if we come down there, then we'll be getting some sort of double support or triple support. We have this descending trend line that comes down from the 25K zone. It was resistance. You can see over here, resistance once, rejected twice on the weekly, rejected three. No, that's the EMA. We got it as support over here, a perfect support. We got down, got a perfect rejection. This is on the weekly, so you can imagine how many daily candles are there. Another rejection, again tested it as support. And if we come down, we could find some good support around this region if it's on this weekly candle. But if it's on the next weekly candle, to be much lower at around the 14267. 14267 will be not far away from our 500 EMA by then. Our 500 EMA might be like that, and we'll have the Fibonacci channels to look at. And this is on the Bitstamp chart. I'll take you to another chart where we could see Bitcoin 14K. Why is that possible? Now I have this chart. Let's go to the daily. It doesn't really look bullish, Bitcoin, because we've broken out of an ascending channel, or some people may call it as a bear flag. We had a bear flag over here, which we broken down of, and the measured move from up here, the breakout point of the bear flag, to the bottom over here, and we take it over here to this breakout, could take us down to the 12,639 zone. So the 12,639 is really possible, but we are at the moment getting sort of support from the POC. We haven't really touched it of this entire bottom range. So if we get a test of the POC, I mean, if we break the POC, then the next level for me would be the value area low. If you are in a short trade, then you'd be looking for these levels for a decision point where would you continue going short, or would you consider a bounce from the 16,341? 16,341 could be the next zone that we bounce from. A lot of people are calling 16.2. 16.2, people are calling for 16.2 to the 15.9 range. But if we break below the 15.9, which is this low over here, then that would be really bad for Bitcoin if we start losing the 15.9 range. Because if we lose the 15.9 range, then the next level of liquidity would be down here, 15.465. Then you'd be coming down into other levels that we haven't tested in a while, and we have some liquidity to grab from there. I'll show you in a higher time frame what are those liquidity levels. Let's go to the where's my indicator? I'll bring back my indicator over here. Okay, on the weekly chart we have the vector candle zones. You could see that clearly at the moment we are over here, we are recovering this vector candle zone, and we have a next zone to recover over here that could take us down to the 13,225. So if Bitcoin does something like this for the next few weeks, comes down, comes up, bounces around, gets rejected, comes down, and if we come down, we could come down to the golden 1.618 Fibonacci level. That could be a level that Bitcoin could be going to. That will match with other targets that I have on this other chart. I was telling you I'm going to show you the 14K. Here we go. This box over here is a possible reversal zone, the 14,776 and the 13,273. I've showed it before. And why do I think it's a reversal zone? Because we would be essentially performing a wave 5 1-to-1 extension, or even a wave 5 1.618. So depending how deep this fifth wave, I believe we were in a fourth and now we're coming down in a fifth, and the fifth wave has some subwaves in it. I believe the wave 4 is done over here, and over here we had a 1, a 2, a possible 3, 4 and a 5. But the fifth wave, this is too big for wave 1 and a 5. This looks like a wave 3. So we could have had finished our first wave of the fifth wave, came in on the second. This whole thing is a second wave, and this is the third, and at the moment we're in the fifth. So if you want to measure the fifth wave, how deep could we go? You take it from the top of 1 to the bottom of 1, and then you take it to the high of the 4, and you would see the 1-to-1 is at 14,768. Over here, I might have taken it in a different time frame, but if you take this time frame, you could easily go down to the 1.618 at 10K also. So that's a very deep wave 5. I don't know if we'll get a very deep wave 5, but you need to be aware of this zone of the 14, possibly 15. You could say 15 to 13,000 range. And do we have any vector zones in that level? Let's take a look on the weekly. You could clearly see that this highlighted area is a vector zone, so it is a level of liquidity that we could come and reclaim from some liquidity. The whole market is looking bearish. I can show you what's happening on the DXY as well. The DXY is looking kind of bearish, but it's more or less bullish, because if you look at the DXY, it's basically in, if you're looking at a crypto coin, you'd say this crypto coin is going to rip to the upside. We're getting support at this previous level of the DXY, and we're holding that support. We got almost like a pin bar to the high. Let's see how it opens tomorrow, and markets open late night tomorrow, the Asian markets. If the DXY is going to be able to go to the upside, then the DXY, if it can break this level over here of this previous high at around 104 and take over this level of resistance support 105.005, then we could be going higher again, and that will be bad for the markets. I don't know if you're long or you're short, but I'm just letting you be aware of what could happen. Now, if we go back to Bitcoin and try and see what kind of a bullish case do we have for Bitcoin if it wants to rally. For starters, Bitcoin has to hold and not fall below 16.2. Below 16.2 won't be so nice. At the moment, we might see some volatility as the psychological levels are being calculated, so you might see some crazy movement on lower time frames. So if Bitcoin is going to claim higher, for Bitcoin to be going up, for starters, we need to immediate targets is right in front of us. We need to claim that previous high. We need to claim the 16.9, but I think a more important target for this to continue is to reclaim 18.5, to be honest. And if we need to claim the 18.5, we also need to gain support over here. So anyone who is looking for a long, you're not going to miss out of Bitcoin of 100k. I mean, if you take a trade from 20k to 100k, that's a lot. You're not going to miss out. So don't be worried about missing out and FOMOing into a trade at the wrong point. As we see over here, a lot of people were liquidated. A lot of people were going long over here. I'm very sure of that. And if I go to some indicator, we might see some indication of that. If we go to the open interest and look at what was happening over here, look at that. People were getting liquidated, people were getting stopped out, people were taking profit, and you can see the red big open interest candle. That shows that this liquidation liquidated people who were going long and liquidated people who were going short. Some people who went long, the candle liquidated them to the downside, only to pull back higher to liquidate the shorts that took the short over here. Then after liquidating the longs and the shorts, we continued lower, but even here there was some move of liquidation. So you can see the red bar. Then over here, when we started going down, open interest increased, people started going short. Then we had some liquidation, slight liquidation here, nothing much over here. And as we got closer to here, you can see a liquidation to the downside. I mean, people were getting stopped out and money was leaving essentially out of the market. If we look at the money flow index at the same point over here, you can see that at this point money flow was at its low. Then money started coming back in. And at the moment, what is happening with Bitcoin and money flow on the hourly? Let's look at the higher time frame. On the hourly, money is leaving out of the market. You could see we're forming lower highs while Bitcoin is trying to form higher highs. On the hourly, that's not a big time frame, but that's bearish divergence essentially. That's what's happening, that we're getting bearish divergence between the highs. We're having over here, if we start off over here, we're having higher highs on the price action. And we're getting lower highs on MFI. That is bearish divergence, and that will eventually translate probably to higher time frames. Then you start noticing a move to the downside. If we look at the cumulative volume CVD, cumulative volume delta. Cumulative volume is showing us that on the 4 hourly, no divergences, so we're good on the hourly. Sorry, on the 4 hourly, there we are. On the 4 hourly, money flow is way at the lows, and we're trying to make it up, but the CVD shows us any divergences. No divergences on the CVD even, so we might crab around for the next few days. As we had this big move, the market needs to cool off. I can't tell you if it's time to buy, but I can say something that what I think, basically, if you are an investor and you're planning to hold for a long time, it's never a bad time to buy Bitcoin. You could buy Bitcoin at 16k. I mean, it was 69k. Some people entered crypto at 64, 65k, and they bought there. $16,000 is a 78% discount for Bitcoin. It's not a bad price to buy, but you need to be able to withstand the drawdown. If you're going to buy now, then you should be okay with, I might lose money if Bitcoin goes to 10k. But the problem is, I feel Bitcoin will go lower. I see Bitcoin going lower. The markets are not, the entire financial situation in the world is not going well, and I feel that we will go lower. But a lot of times when everyone is looking at something, Bitcoin does the opposite. I'll show you something over here. So if you are to buy, it's at your own risk, but you should be able to handle the drawdown that we might have if Bitcoin decides to go lower till February or March. There's a lot of talk. a lot of people are expecting a lower low in Bitcoin. I'm expecting a lower low, but you need to be aware that when we had this peak in April and we were going down, I'll show you. We had a 1, 2, excuse me, a 3, a 4. People were expecting a 5th wave, that essentially a 5th wave could break the wave 3. I'll show you that quickly over here. So people were counting this 1, 2 to the up, 3, 4, and 5. What happened here? Our 5th wave was a truncated 5th. It was shorter than the 3rd wave, which happens sometimes. So we might not really form a lower low, but Bitcoin will have to come. Bitcoin will come down, could come down and form a higher low. So Bitcoin doesn't have to break the 15. My TA says we'll go down, but Bitcoin doesn't have to go down to below 15.4. And if Bitcoin does that, then that will be very good for Bitcoin, because if we do that, let's pull out the RSI. I'll show you what could happen. A possibility for Bitcoin, if Bitcoin needs to move, it needs to hold the low. At the moment, we don't have any divergences. So if I want Bitcoin to move, I'll remove my drawings for a second. If I want Bitcoin to start moving up, what needs to happen is possibly what happened over here. Let's take a look on the daily. This was the 3rd wave. Then we had the 5th wave. Between the 3rd and the 5th, you usually get divergences. So this is the 3rd wave. Let's measure it out. Let's use a trend line to mark it out. Our 3rd wave, we had this high, this low, and then our 5th wave came down, but still formed a lower low in the candles, not the wicks, the candles. Then on the RSI, if we take it from the same point, the RSI was over here. We formed a low, and if we go all the way to this point, we formed a higher low. You see what happened here? Price formed a lower low, RSI formed a higher low. So that's what I'm looking for Bitcoin, is on a higher time frame, like the daily, price to form over there, price formed, what did I say? Price formed a lower low. RSI formed a higher low, and you had bullish divergence, and that's when market started going bullish, started going up. So here on Bitcoin, on the daily time frame, at the moment, what is our low? Our low is around 50. Our closing of this candle, we look at the closing because the RSI only follows the closing of the candle. It doesn't follow the wick. So if you want to compare it, by the way, guys, I want to ask you, how is the volume? I mean, is it all right, or are we having a problem with the volume? Just let me know in the chat if the volume is fine. Okay, so now I'm looking at this. Now what I want Bitcoin to do over here is Bitcoin RSI to form a higher low, while Bitcoin does something like this, comes down and breaks the low, but closes slightly above. Doesn't close above the 15.4, but closes there. And RSI on the other hand will just come down and form a higher low. Okay, thank you very much, Critical. So if that happens, then what happens with Bitcoin? We'll have lower low in price. If we take it here to the candle close, and if we come up here, we'll have a higher low, and that's when we'll get the reversal. So you need to have a signal on why you're taking your long. Now you could take a long. If you didn't see earlier, I was mentioning that we are at a good point for support. Let me try and get back my indicators and my drawings in my chart. Take a minute. There we go. Now looking at Bitcoin, we have in the chart, we are at the point of control over here of this entire down range. So you know that we are at the point of control. We haven't touched it like we did last week, but we are at the point of control. Essentially, we are here. And if you take a fib retracement, so this is how you build your case. Why would I take a long here? Okay, from the low to the high, we are at the golden pocket zone from the low to the high. And if we take it from here, if we change what the point that we start from, if we take it from here, you could see that we are at the 0.5 fib. Sorry, we are in the 1-to-1 extension. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say is that you need to build your case on why are you taking a trade. So you say, okay, from the low here on the daily time frame, this is a big time frame, the retracement went to the 0.618. What does that tell me? The 0.618 can be a reversal zone. It's the golden pocket. We've seen Bitcoin wick below that. Even over here, you see we wick below that. Sometimes we can even go below the 0.65 and only to be bought back. So the 0.618 is a reversal zone for me. It's an important zone for me. And if I'm thinking that Bitcoin could go up, and if I want to take a long trade, I would have taken it over here. Look at that. This is on the hourly. You can see you had your first test, your second test. Then you say, okay, I am gonna take this long, but how far will I take that long? Then I look at the chart. I look at my EMAs. On the hourly, my 50 comes to 16.9. So if I'm taking a long, I'll be watching the 16.9 closely and looking what's the reaction 16.9. Are we going to reclaim it on the smaller time frame? Are we above the 50 EMA? Okay, on the 15-minute time frame, we're reclaiming the 50 EMA. So that's good. So we need to see some follow through. We need to see a breakout. Now at the moment, the levels are being calculated, you can see, and they'll be set tomorrow morning. It takes some time to calculate the levels. Then we could get a breakout. Then these levels could be considered as your support and resistance level. If you break above and get support, then you could continue higher. Now, one thing is looking at EMAs. Another thing is looking at horizontal support, which is also very important. What I would really love to see is Bitcoin go higher. I was anticipating higher, 18.5, or even higher than 18.5. The level of 18.5, if you watched my videos, you would know that I given it before. I even posted it on a short video, and Bitcoin perfectly hit 18,400, not 18.5. I was looking at 18.5, but I gave that level 18.4. Okay, now a big level of support. There would be a support and resistance is this block over here. You need to reclaim that. If you're able to reclaim that, this level, and gain support above it, essentially you'll be above the value area high and you'll have support. I have another problem. We could just do this because Bitcoin sometimes does this. After a breakdown, Bitcoin could range here. People will think that's it, we're going up, only to come and wick above the bottom of the bear flag to get rejected again. So that won't be good. But if you're taking a trade, if I'm going to take a trade, a long trade in a bear market, it would be only a scalp long or day trade. It won't be a swing trade. My swing trades are way from above. I've closed my swing trades from above. I've taken excuse me, I've taken my profits. I had a short from 14k, I had another short from 69k, and in the moment I'm in another short and as we speak it's above 100% in profit using 73x leverage. I don't advise on very high leverage, but if you know what you're doing and you use proper position size and you use stop losses, then you shouldn't have a problem. I mean, you would put your stop in a way that you don't lose so much money. So if you have a $100 account, you would trade maybe a $10 trade, and that's all right. You trade 10, you gain 10, that's not bad, and you compound your profits as you go until you grow it. When I started trading, no joke, I started trading in $5 positions because I didn't have the capital. $5 positions and I compound them. But in this game you will lose money. Nothing is guaranteed. You will burn off your accounts, but please don't be one of those people that burn off their accounts. Use stop losses, but it takes a while. Another thing I used to do, and I still do on the side, I do paper trading. I trade with fake money on different platforms, and it's been going well. I mean, it's a practice. It's like you're in a shooting range and practicing your shots. That's all for Bitcoin. If you have anything you want to throw in the chart, in the chat, sorry, please spam the chat with whatever coin you want me to look at, whatever you're interested in. Meanwhile, I'm going to show you a chart that I've been looking at. Quant BTC, Quant Bitcoin. These Bitcoin pairs, some of them like Quant and Litecoin, have been trading much better than Bitcoin. If you look at them on higher time frames, they haven't really broken down below November. I mean, yeah, below there. This is their November low. Bitcoin has broken its June low. These coins haven't broken their November low. They're holding, like Quant BTC, Litecoin BTC. I don't trade these Bitcoin pairs because I don't know, I just didn't get into trading them, but I see them performing much better than Bitcoin. Look at that. This is Litecoin. It's outperforming Bitcoin. It hasn't taken September, October. It hasn't taken even its November low. It's been holding up. I mean, Bitcoin from November, where's November? November 2021. This coin was here in November 2021. What has Bitcoin done after that? Bitcoin has been tanking all the way while these coins went down and continued higher. Quant and Litecoin. Ethereum, on the other hand, Ethereum has quite a few levels. I'll take these fib levels. This chart is a bit messy because I did a lot of TA in it. At a point we were in a descending channel. We broke out of the descending channel, which is a bullish indication, got support from it and fired out. And we got support from this level that I had for a long time, 1276. and we pumped. I mean, we had support from it. It became resistance. Look at that, support, basic TA. We came down, tried to get up, couldn't keep it. Resistance, resistance, resistance. We had a day above, 2 days, 3 days. We tanked. So if Ethereum comes down Ethereum comes up back to 1276, why is Bitcoin? Why is YouTube keep on putting ads on my songs that I'm playing? Okay, if Ethereum comes up to 1276, that's a good point to consider a short. It will be the point of control. It is a horizontal resistance, significant resistance for Ethereum. And I have levels of Ethereum to the downside. We have the January 2020 demand wick over here. Look at that wick. This level is significant. You would see it going. I have 2 demand wicks, but that's on the daily chart. So if I go like this and take you here, you will notice that Ethereum has 2 demand wicks. One is close to the 1000. What level was this? 1004. And we have another one at 911. So 911 would be a significant point for Ethereum. If we come back to Ethereum over here, keep saying Bitcoin. You see how we came down in June? We respected those levels. We tried twice, broke, wicked below it, came back up, got support from the other one, a wick and a wick. It was a lovely buying point. I missed it. Too bad for me. So if we come down here, I might consider. I missed it because I believed Ethereum could go down to this other one, January 2020 lows. If we lose that, we could come down to the 712 range for Ethereum. An interesting chart that I look at, something very interesting. If we go back to Bitcoin on the weekly, Bitcoin on the weekly, and I bring back my Kima on the weekly, and I remove these EMAs. I'll keep the 50 and the 100, and we go back in time as far as it can go. You can see that ever since we had this is the 300, orange and red, the orange and the red, the 300 and 400 EMAs, Bitcoin was never able to close below them. We wicked on a weekly chart, but never closed. And these are the 50 and the 100. As far as you can go, we've done it only 3 times for Bitcoin. When we had the crossover here, it marked a bottom. We went up, then we came down, and we came up when we had a bearish cross. Now if you go over here, we had a bearish cross for Bitcoin, 50 and 100 marked. We almost had a bearish cross. I think we had one over here, then we didn't have a crossover yet. Then we pumped over here. We finally had a bearish cross and a follow through. So that's also another thing that's worrying me about Bitcoin. And as I showed you the 300, we didn't close under it. We didn't close under it. At the moment, we've been under it for we've been under the 300 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 16 weeks, and that's 112 days. So that's worrisome for Ethereum. Bitcoin, I keep saying Ethereum, it's really bad for Ethereum. And we are below the 400. So how long have we been? We've never been below the 400, remember that. And now we've been down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a big rejection on our 6 week this week from the 400 EMA. What do we have under us? Incoming, we have EMA. Let's pull out the 500 EMA. The 500 EMA. The 500 EMA, as I said, at the moment is at 14,105. We might retest that because whenever we lose one, we most of the times come to the bottom, the other one. Now targets to the upside. If this is the move up, let's look at it. Bitcoin is supposed to be in a correction now. Now the correction, you could count it from here. And you need to go to a lower time frame. And you can see, you could say we had an, it was a correction. It's an ABC correction. But you can also look at it as 5 waves. So you can say 1, 2, and again 1, 2, and then another 1, 2. And then that gets invalidated because you have a 4th 1, 2. So that becomes highly unlikely to have so many 1, 2s. So the bullish case kind of died out. I was hoping it holds over here and continues, but it didn't. But say we are wrong. Say I'm wrong, and this entire move was a 1 and a 2 because we retraced to the 0.618. How far can a wave 3 go? We need to desperately hold this level. If we're holding this level, and only if we're holding this level, then I can give you a projection for the 3rd wave, which is usually the longest, but never the shortest. It doesn't have to be the longest, but it's never the shortest. It could go to the low over here. So if you are in a long trade from down here and you're thinking we could probably go up, the 1-to-1 is at 19,463. You could have this level. This could be your resistance if we are starting our bull run. And if the 3rd wave goes as an extended 3rd wave, as it can go to the 1.618, 21,243. Now, how do you determine if you're in a 3rd wave or 4th wave? That's all Elliott wave counts. I don't want to get deep into it. I'm not an Elliottician. I have basic knowledge of Elliott waves and I try to use them in my trades, but I don't trade solely on them. So if we go up, we could go up to 19K. It's not far off. Bitcoin could do that next week. So your target, if you're going to go up, then when you get to the 3rd wave, if your 3rd wave is at the 19K, then where would you project your next low? I'll show you. If we get to this point, then I know that if I come down, I could come down to 18,031 for my 4th wave to still be valid. And if I go down as 18,041 and that's my 4th wave, then how far can I go? You just measure it like this. Sorry, I said 18,041. We keep it at 18,050. I could go as high as the 5th wave can go to the 1-to-1, 20,000, or the 1.618 at 22,735. So those are your bullish targets, but I'm not trying to sell hopium. I'm sorry. I can't say that. And if I see the markets this bad, but 19K wouldn't be so much of hopium. Why wouldn't it be hopium? Because if we go up to 19K, then if you've been watching my channel, then I always say that Bitcoin does this pattern a lot. First off, we have liquidity up to the 20,689. We usually come down or come up to liquidity. It's very possible for Bitcoin to come up to liquidity. If you haven't already, be kind, smash the likes if you like the content. If you don't, then it's fine. I appreciate it anyways. Bitcoin likes to do this pattern. I'll show you. We come down, we BART out. We call it BARTing out because it's like Bart Simpson's head. and we continue up again. We've done it so many times, time and time again. You can find it a lot of places in the chart. I'll show it to you. You could see it clearly on the 4-hourly and hourly. We came down, did this move, came back up, grabbed liquidity, pumped up, only to continue lower. Over here, it wasn't a perfect BART, but we did it over here. It's just like a square shape. Up here, we did the same thing, came up, chick, and back down. When I see a move up or a move down that does this move, when we start having tightening of the range, depending on what time frame, I know that we're losing momentum and we're gonna reverse soon. Oops. So if Bitcoin, which it's not at the moment, but it could be starting this move. If Bitcoin starts doing this, then I know we could do this, possibly till here, 17.7. Remember, 17.4 will be very big resistance over here. It's a big resistance zone. Are you in any trades, guys? Anyone taking a trade? Anyone trading anything? Any coins? So I said 17.4 would be big resistance. This 17.4 would be somewhere around here. This is 17.245. 17.4 will bring us up to this point. We could be close to retesting that. If we go up now and retest the top of this, I expect a rejection at 17.515. Solana, on the other hand, I have some targets. Okay, just investing. That's a smart move. That's a safe play, in my opinion. You save yourself getting wrecked and the pain of trading. The trading comes with a penalty of pain, where the withdrawal, the staying in the red, being in the loss. But yeah, if you use risk management, looks like we're having some movement on Solana. And this 4-hourly candle is looking kind of bullish. I would expect a rejection or resistance at $13 for Solana. My targets for Solana, I've had them for a long time, down at 9.114. We didn't come down that low. We came very close to my target over here at around 9.427. My next target is at 8.314, and I have measured moves to the $5 to $7 range if Solana is going to go lower. If you're investing, then that would be a beautiful point to buy. Imagine buying Solana at $5. This asset was at around, let's look at the highs. It was around $260. Imagine buying it at $5. That's crazy. Even buying it at 13 isn't that bad now. But this entire move down, you can see if Solana on this fixed range volume profile, if we're able to reclaim, get above this volume node, that would be above the POC and above, as I mentioned earlier, if we get above 15, then easily we could see $18 and 343. And if we get above that, above the 18.8, then we have this gap in the chart, and essentially price would move like butter if it gets above there. That's not hopium, that's how it works. And we'll get to this next volume node over here which was a level I was concerned with. It was these 2 wicks. I'll show you them. But this was when we were here. So I was marking them off that we're going to reclaim them, and look what we did. We reclaimed them. So if we get up there, we'll be reclaiming this whole liquidity. You could see it with the indicator. It's high volume candles. So we would be coming up to reclaim them, only to move down or continue lower. But as I said, we have a pocket over here, a vacuum that the charts usually like to fill the imbalances. So you have an imbalance on the daily, doesn't show, but if you go to the weekly on Solana, this blue line would be your 50 EMA. That would be around $68. But everything doesn't look that good in the market. I mean, investing is great, but we had a lot of bad news the past few months. Celsius, Luna, the recent one, FTX, Gemini, and now there is some FUD about Binance. I think about 3 billion has been moved out of the exchange of Binance. Is that a normal thing or not? I'm not an expert, but Binance says that's FUD. It's not true. There are rumors coming out, maybe trying to shake out the market and put fear in the market, so people start selling off, as what's happening now with the 3 billion that's come out. It's basically people selling their coins or taking profits on their trades. In my opinion, from the coins that you mentioned, critical, I'm not a big investor, but as I showed, that Quant is one of the coins that is at the moment still outperforming Bitcoin. I hear that Mana is a good coin. Sand is another one. But if you want to look at solid coins, you could look at Matic. Let's take a look at Matic. Why not take a look at some of these coins? Let's look at Matic. Matic. Matic on the daily is below its 50 EMA, but it could easily come and try and recover some of this candle. But if you look at Matic, this coin was it was at around almost $3. There will be a bull run, and if you're an investor for the long term, I mean, you're buying it at 60% discount or more. As you look at this, if I pull a fixed range volume profile for Matic, this is on the daily, and let's take a look where Matic is. If we take this entire down range as one big range, we are below the POC. So let's take another fixed range profile. Okay, for this range only, you can see that Matic is holding the value area low. For the long term, I think Matic could be a good coin to invest in. It depends on the projects they have. You need to look at what are they. People who invest usually look at the projects, read through them, and look at who are investing, who are the venture capitalists in these coins, and what are the projects that are working in. So let's say Ethereum. We know Ethereum has a lot of things based on Ethereum. It's ERC20 and all that. The coins that are based on Ethereum network. I'm not sure about Matic, but looking at the patterns in the chart, I'm a pattern trader. I just look at the chart. I see that we really broken down very badly, and that puts fear in the market. But they tell you when there's blood on the streets, that's when you buy. Everyone's afraid, everyone's selling their bags. Probably people are selling at these levels, which is a pity. But looking at this pattern of Matic as a possible, if you're going to take it from here, this would be taking Matic to zero. I won't take it from here, but I'm just for the sake of illustration, if you take it that way and you see the breakout, you take it from the high to the neckline and you take it at the breakout over here, Matic will go to negative. That's kind of crazy. But if I draw the head and shoulders as I think it's playing out, something like that, and if you take it like that and put that down there, you take a trend line and you look at from the head to the possible neckline and you take it from your breakout point. So essentially this would have to come somewhere here. That'll be a very big shoulder, I think. And you'd say your neckline was somewhere here. You didn't have a breakout over here. I'm trying to get the head and shoulders perfect. You had your breakout over there. You had that. You had, oh man, you had your shoulder over here. You had another shoulder over here, and your neckline. Just to have a projected move. Same thing. It takes me to the negative. It's kind of impossible. So the head and shoulders for me, I'm not going to look at it. But this entire move was a 1, a possible 2, and then this move down was a 3. So we had a 1, 2, and a 3 over 3, consolidated for a 4 and a 5, and we're in a wave 4. So if I project that and I look at the length of wave 1 and I take it to the high of wave 4, I don't know where Matic is going. Basically, it looks very bearish to me. I mean, looks very scary. Solana is in risk. Yeah, it is in risk due to this FTX thing that just happened. They owned a lot of Solana, but I don't think so. Solana will go to 0. It has a lot of good projects. I don't know if Luna had any projects. I wasn't invested heavily, and even when I started and I bought Luna, I was investing, but I haven't read about it. I'm not sure of their projects. But I feel that there'll be a washout. Can you imagine if Bitcoin goes to the 14K, I mean the 12 or the 10K, what kind of washout will that do in the market? Do you know how many people will be selling their bags if Bitcoin goes to 10K? People will be selling their Bitcoin when it's at 10K. They'll give up hope, and that will be the capitulation. Solana, on the other hand, as I said, I believe Solana could go down to the $5 to $7 range. That's my target for Solana for now. And if Solana gets down to the $5 range, that will be very juicy for me. And I think that's when I'll start investing again in Solana. I'm just waiting for this month to end and see if we get a Santa rally that we usually get. As people always say, Santa rally, Santa rally. Let's see if we'll get the Santa rally. People are very gloomy and loomy now. Everyone's thinking that's it. So maybe that's a good time for the markets to pump. If I look at Solana, I say this was a 1-2, and my third wave started over here, 1-2, and we came down to the 1.618 over here. That's the third wave, and I believe we were in a fourth wave up till here, and we're going down in a fifth. So that's scary. I mean, yeah, nothing looks really nothing looks, I won't say scary. I mean, it's an opportunity to invest. So why is it scary? Why is everyone scared? Maybe people who hold heavy bags of crypto. I hold USDT mostly. So if I go down here and I'm projecting the wave 5, I took it the length of 1, the top of this wave 4, which was at around $48. My wave 5, I can't take a projection. It's a very deep projection. It goes to the negative. I mean, it's crazy. Maybe I'm counting my waves wrong, as I said. I'm not an elitician, but I like to take projections. I can take a projection from this. This is a very likely wave 4. You usually get these sort of triangles in a wave 4 or in a wave B correction. So if I say this was the correction is finished and I'm starting to dump, then I would say I would count my projection from here, from the top to the bottom over here, to the top over here, and my 1.618 takes me below $5. My 1-to-1 extension takes me 17. We've broken that. My next zone of interest is that $5 range for Solana. And if you look at this fixed range volume, the value area low comes at around 9.4, and we stopped right there. I'm telling you, I think I'll go crazy if Ethereum gets 800. I'm looking at 650, 670, 640. That's crazy. Can you imagine when someone is trading these coins and they have shorted Ethereum from $3,000 or $4,000? By the time Ethereum gets down there, and even if they're not using leverage, if someone shorted this from this November high and went all the way down to $800, let's look at that. That's 83% without leverage. 83% without leverage. And if you're using 20x, that's 1,660%. That means you'll make 16 times your money. So if you shorted one Bitcoin from there, I believe you'll be sitting at $66,400. I mean Ethereum, 66,400 in profit. And if Ethereum is at $800, you can buy 83 Ethereum. That's insane. Imagine buying 83 Ethereum. You'll be like very close to being a whale, if not a whale. 83 Ethereum. Then that 83 Ethereum that you have and you invested goes back up to 4,000, or even says it doesn't make it to the all-time high again, it goes just to 2,000. You flip that to $166,000. That's why people are so addicted to trading and just want to trade, because you can make a lot of money trading, but it is risky and you can lose a lot of money. Basically, Ethereum is at, this is on the daily chart, so if I go on the 4 hourly, you can see the range. We are on this 4 hourly candle reclaiming the value area low of this range, which is a good point for someone who is trading. They say, okay, I broke up the value area low. I'm waiting for a bullish retest. That is a retest continuation. And if this is a start of something, it looks very corrective. So if I project that, Ethereum can go to the 1,300 again. The 1-to-1 takes me to 1,205. The 1.618 takes me to 1,226. Yeah, not 1,300. So basically 1,226 could be another range. I see this as a correction. We could go up like this, come to the 1-to-1, and then come down again in a 3 wave. Then we could move up in a 5 wave. If this is gonna tank, that's how maybe the correction could look. It all depends on the dollar and the euro. If you're in Europe, then you know that the euro is having issues, but the euro at the moment is leading the dollar. We have broken parity. We're at 1.058. So we are above the 1-to-1 relationship between the euro and the dollar. This line over here is parity. This is the one is when the dollar is equal to the euro. The euro has done a nice move up, but this move over here, the overlapping, looks like we're coming to an end of this move up. As you can see on the hourly, we have gotten rejected and we are trying to move lower. We are below the 50 EMA on the hourly, on the euro. And if that happens, my friend, then that will essentially, the DXY, the dollar index, is made up of I believe over 50% euro. So when euro moves down, dollar moves up. When euro moves up, dollar moves down. The euro plays a big role in the DXY. So on the 4 hourly, on the daily, do we have any EMAs above us? Even on the daily, we're above the 233. So this rejection from the high for the euro could just retest the 233 again, or the 50. If we lose that, then we'll be coming down. So what I'm trying to say is that you need to monitor the euro and the dollar index, the DXY. The DXY could be, you could see Bitcoin reacting to it when it moves up slightly and all that. Bitcoin reacts to the downside and so on. Chiliz has taken a nosedive. I mean, I was in a trade in Chiliz. I closed my trade early, but if I was still in, look at that. It's broken every level of support that I had. I've had these levels for a long time, and we've been coming down and breaking each level of support. You see what happens is, if you have levels, that's the problem. If you have levels, you test them and you say, oh, this is a bullish pin or doji or whatever, and we're gonna continue higher. But sometimes the market, you need to know what's happening in the market as a whole. At the moment, look at that. That is promising that we're holding, but I believe we're gonna come and reclaim this green area. And we even have liquidity down here on Chiliz. Everyone expected the World Cup, because Chiliz is involved with FIFA and all that. They expected Chiliz to pump up, but I guess it was buy the rumor and sell the news. It was really buy the rumor and sell the news for Chiliz. Another coin that I like looking at is Quant and Litecoin. I was trading Quant, and in my videos I gave these levels. I said if Quant loses, let's hide that. Can we hide it? Get rid of that. No, I'll keep it on. I said if Quant loses, the 120 range will be coming to the 114. And Quant did come to the 114 today, 2 days ago, and we held a bit, only to break down significantly with a rejection from the 114. And I said the 110 would be next, and if we lose the 110, then we're coming to the 101. So Quant could be going down to the 101. I see Quant coming as low as this 94. It could claim this liquidity. It depends how you look at the market. Are you going to look at it as a very bad thing, or as you as an investor, you're going to take advantage of that? Because even as an investor, you need to know the levels and when to buy, when to sell. And an indication for when to buy could also be looking at divergences in the chart, as I showed you when you have a bullish divergence. So at the moment we are in a downtrend, so I'm looking for bullish divergence on Quant if I'm going to buy Quant or long Quant. We don't have any bullish divergence on the daily. We formed lower lows and lower lows. This is on the 4 hourly. Let's look at the daily. On the daily, higher lows and higher lows, but we had bearish divergence over here. This was the day of the FOMC. We confirmed our bearish divergence on Quant and a continuation, and we're having 3 red candles in a row, so that's worrisome for Quant. On the other hand, Litecoin, Litecoin on the daily has lost to 233. We broke above it, which was bullish. We got support over here, as you can see. We held the 73 range and we broke down. Targets for Litecoin. Let's take a fixed range volume profile and say where are we with Litecoin. We will get attracted, magnetized to the point of control at 53.50. As I mentioned, Quant and Litecoin have been outperforming Bitcoin. I don't have a Telegram, no, a Discord. I want to make one. I need to put some time in really to make one. I think it would be very good if I have that. It would help me out and it would be very useful having a community. I really want to make one. I'll be working on that hopefully. At the moment, what I see on Litecoin is bullish div. So if the daily closes like this today, Litecoin, we might have a rotation to the upside on Litecoin because bullish divergence, it could play out because we're having, actually it's hidden bullish. Okay, we are in a major downtrend, so hidden bullish is not as strong as bearish divergences. So we're having hidden bullish. It might not play out because we are in a downtrend. Hidden bullish is hard to play out in a downtrend. You need to be in an uptrend. On the micro, you are in an uptrend, but this is a daily chart, and in the daily chart, I am in a micro uptrend. So I could say that there is a possibility, but I'm not very convinced with it because I'm in a macro downtrend. That's how you look at it. What you want to see is higher lows on the RSI and lower lows on the price action. So what should happen with Litecoin, for it to move up, you need the price to come down, break this low, which was at around 49.47, and you need the RSI okay, so this is what needs to happen. Price to move up, RSI moves up again, resets, and then somehow price to come down and hold and create a lower low while RSI creates a higher low. Then you have your bullish divergence. Then you can say, okay, there is a possibility to rotate to the upside. I mean, that's how markets work. Looking at our momentum indicator, MACD on the daily, I'm going to take a look at MACD on the daily. Doesn't look very promising. We haven't had the fading out of candles like here. We need to see fading out of the red candle, red bars, and possibly a rotation to the upside. On the 4 hourly, we are having that slight rotation. On the hourly, probably already we are having that rotation. As I told you, we might expect some volatility now when the levels are being calculated. Now I want to go quickly on Quant to see if Quant is doing the same. Quant on the hourly is leveling out. It's not really doing it. 4 hourly still, but it's fading out. We might curl up today and tomorrow. Daily still looks like Despite this big candle on the daily, we got a very small momentum bar, which is kind of fishy, but we had a crossover. So I'm not sure if this can hold to the downside. We might get a small rotation to the upside on everything. Even Bitcoin, we might have a rotation to 17.4 again to retest last week's high or even the bear flag bottom. Critical, if you have any coins or anything you want to take a look at, I'm more than happy to do it for you, bro. Otherwise, I'll just call it a stream. Just let me know in the chat. BNB on the other hand really took a nosedive, and at the moment we're getting a nice green daily candle. The daily candle is trying to close green today. On the 4-hourly, we are trying to push up on BNB. Level of resistance to watch off on the 4-hourly is our 50 EMA at 263. Next level is at 282 for resistance or take profit, depending. If you're on a long, then you'd consider that as a take profit zone, because you'll have the 200 and 233 on the daily, on the 4-hourly, which is some sort of resistance. And you'll have, let's see if we have any Fibonacci levels over there. At the same point, you have your POC coming in at 273 as well. You have your value area low at 260. So those are levels to watch for Ethereum. Do we have any confluence of fib levels? .618 will be at 282. So that's a level to watch out for BNB if it's going to pump all the way up. We'll check out Polygon for you and Monero. So let me just pull up Matic. Polygon. Yeah, I think I have it in my chart. Yeah, I do. Monero. Matic, Monero. There we have Matic. We have Matic over here. As I mentioned, Matic at the moment is trying to make a move to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if Matic comes all the way to yesterday's high at 0.889. I wouldn't be surprised if we go up there, because if Matic goes there, it will just be recovering that liquidity. Now, the MACDs are trying to curl over on the 4-hourly. On the hourly, I think we've done that and we're moving up. So some promise over there, but we need to reclaim the 50 EMA. On the 15 minutes, we've done it already. And we have a vector candle, but followed by some sort of stopping candle. We can see we're coming down. We might retest the 50 and continue higher to the 200 or the 233. But looking at higher time frames on the daily, As I told you, we might come up and recover this entire liquidity from yesterday, 0.8918, and get rejected at the 50. So short term, we might have some upside, but we failed. The problem with Matic, we failed to follow through here on the 7th of November, and we really dived down to the downside. But it is possible to get one more push up. The 1.03 level that I have is interesting. If we can get up there, that would be a level you need to watch out for. Why? Because it was levels where I had wicks, I believe. Not on the 4 hourly. Let me see on the hourly. I took them from these wicks over here, so it is way from here. I marked them out from here, from November. So there were levels of interest, but now Matic has grabbed that liquidity already, so it's done with that. Next zones to watch out for if we go to the downside. I try to keep it real in the channel and not give any FUD. I hate people who give FUD and make traders take the wrong decisions, and investors. But as the levels are being calculated at the moment, as you can see, we might have spike up and spike down because it is calculating the levels, calculating the range for the rest of the week that we might break out of or break down from. So we might break out and come back in and break down, or the other way around. But if you look at this, if you want a bullish narrative, some sort of double bottom over here that could play out, in addition to the BART shape, we could come up, even on the daily, we could come up and reclaim that liquidity. Very, very likely. Now look at Monero. I never took a look at this coin. I have no idea what it is. How do you write it? Monero, okay, with an O. Monero. On Binance Perpetual Futures, let's take a look. Where's Monero? Okay, there we go. XMR. See, coins like Monero give you good trades. Why? I wish I've seen that earlier. Why? Because a coin like this respects the 200. Just to let you know, the MACD on the daily has crossed down. That isn't good. Despite the small green candle, you had a big red bar relatively. 4 hourly, you're looking to curl up over here on the 4 hourly. On the hourly, you've done it already. I'll pull up the RSI to see if we have any divergences on Monero. You are below the 50, so this would be a perfect entry for a short. You retested the 50, rejected, might have a follow through to the downside, unfortunately. But yeah, and you have hidden bearish divergence between this high and this high, and this high and this high. That's bearish, hidden bearish. That's a continuation of the trend. On the 4 hourly, on the 4 hourly, you're getting rejected from the 200 and 233, and you don't have any bullish divergences yet. On the daily, let's look for divergences on the daily. Maybe there's something. we could say on the higher time frame. But the problem is, as I said, hidden bearish doesn't really work well in a bear market. When the trend is down, you don't look for hidden bearish, because hidden is a continuation. So this doesn't mean you're going to continue. You are having some sort of overlapping patterns. Show you what I'm talking about. This, you have this, you break down, came down, and now you're doing it again. You're going up. I told you, when I see these overlapping patterns, a lot of times they break down. Call it an ascending wedge, an ascending channel. It could continue higher. It has reclaimed most of this liquidity. I bet you it's at the 0.618 at least. We exceeded it, 0.786. Looks like it wants to come down. That's how Monero looks like to me. But if I want to know targets to the upside, possible targets for Monero at the upside on a higher time frame, if Monero is done with this move down and we're rotating to the upside, if we had a big one wave, a 2, a 3, 4 and a 5 over here, and now we're rotating to the upside. Now let me see, where did this wave 3, how low did it go? That's my 1, 2, okay, because they're very volatile, so the TA is a bit thrown off. That's why I had difficulty earlier plotting the fib extensions on that chart, because these coins are a bit harder to chart because of their volatility. It throws you off. But how much did we retrace from this high to this low? We've retraced the 0.382, which is a good enough retracement. We might have a continuation to the downside. But if we are to come, we could still come all the way up to 194.5 and still be continuing the downtrend, as a 0.5 fib retracement is acceptable. So nothing really looks good on Monero as well. I mean, we are at a level of support. Look left. This box over here, this level over here, we are at a level of support. We're bouncing off it, but we're having trouble with the resistance over here. So we're squashed between support and resistance. Are we forming any falling wedge? Do we have a falling wedge over here, or a triangle? We don't have a perfect triangle over here to say that we're in a wedge or a triangle. We didn't have much retest. It's a big gap in the middle, so I don't like it. Let me go to the smaller time frame. Maybe there is a pattern I can see. So yeah, Monero is resting at the 233 on the 4 hourly. Look at that. It's trying to reclaim the 233. You need to reclaim the 233. See over here, big resistance, rejection. Look at how many attempts you did and you failed. Finally, you broke up. At the moment, we're doing the same. So many attempts. We could get rejected only to go back up, or is this a move up? I mean, sometimes we break above the 233, but we end up failing. You could take the trade if you're a trader, but if you're an investor, then I would tell you Monero is at a discount. Let's look at it on let's look at it on this chart. Do we have more data here? And if we go on the weekly, nothing much. Do we have it on Bitstamp where we can see more data and analyze more data? Monero USD, I can't find it anywhere. Okay, so if we go on the daily, how far can we go back? Now the problem with this is those wicks in the downside. Look at that. You have a wick that goes all the way down to $82. But you have these liquidity which are closer at around 153, 157, up to the 174 on the daily chart. On the 4-hourly, you'll see more of them. So I think for now, Monero and any other coin, most coins have had an extended move to the downside. You are bound for a relief, slight relief to the upside. So big money can come again, and if they want to sell from a higher point, they'll be able to sell from a higher point. That's my opinion about Monero, Solana, Ethereum. Solana is making that nice move. It's trying to close green for the day. Very nice. This is not nice. When it's blue, it tells me that volume could be stopping and we might continue lower. Bitcoin is making that move as well on the hourly. We are getting rejected from the 50 EMA cloud. Speaking of clouds, I want to look at something. I haven't looked the Ichimoku cloud in a long time. Ichimoku cloud on the hourly, it's right above us with the 233. So if Bitcoin gets to 17,159, that will be major resistance. 233 and the thick cloud above us. What about the 4-hourly? 4-hourly is kind of thin over here, but I still think it will be good resistance. Plus the POC is coming into sight. Daily 17,410. If this cloud continues like this, we might have our Kumo twist coming in at around 7th of February. This is on the daily, higher time frame. On the 4-hourly, if we take this till the 22nd of December, we'll have a chance to rally over here. We have a Kumo twist over here, see? The cloud thins out. It doesn't mean that we can't rip out of a thick cloud, but usually, as you see over here, thin cloud, we ripped out. Alright, that's my take on the market. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you liked it. Tune in to the next one. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the likes if you like the content. And thank you in advance. More trades. I'm out.